This dude is a legend. Straight up legend. Will be remembered forever. You will hear Inoue's name, man. Ain't nobody done it like him, man. Ain't nobody done it like him. I know some people might say Crawford and all of that shit, but man, this dude has fought world championship fights since he had 7 professional fights. Come on. 7 professional fights. God. He number 1 pound for pound in the game, period.
Fighter, as it was a good performance against, in my opinion, the number 1 pound for pound fighter. Now, firstly, Junta Nakatani definitely showed that he deserves to still be a big name on this boxing scene, as he put up a great performance against the number 1 pound for pound fighter, where I think it's going to be tough for a lot of guys to beat him in the upcoming years.
Did you see the Inoue Nakatani fight earlier today?
Oh man, yes I did. Inoue had me on pins and needles. Now I like Inoue. Surprisingly, my 2 favorite fighters in this era, for real, outside of my brother, because I gotta say my brother.
Yeah.
Fastest hands in boxing and etc. The creativity, all that, it's through the roof. But Monster, and there we go. Monster, and who's fighting? Dave Benavidez.
Yeah.
Whoever lost, they weren't. If Inoue lost, he wasn't the number 1 fighter in the world anymore, and he wasn't even the number 1 fighter in Japan anymore. So yeah, huge reputational pride at stake for Inoue. But the question is, if they don't get the rematch now, or if they never do the rematch, what should they do next? Well, for Inoue, there is a part in age. I don't know if I see it happening.
Hey, look up this young fighter called the Monster. He's a Japanese, 118 pounds. He's better than Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao was blue like that. He's vicious. That's a badass guy he beat too. Broke him down. Ooh.
118?
Yeah,
who the hell fights in that
bantamweights?
Yeah, but who?
Some bad motherfuckers. Yeah, some killers. He beat him so easy. The mean son of a.
Mike Tyson knows exactly what it takes to intimidate an opponent. But even Tyson appears completely mesmerized by a fighter competing at super bantamweight. Tyson doesn't simply respect Naoya Inoue. He sees a direct reflection of himself in his prime, a kindred spirit with that same ruthless seek and destroy mentality. For this Japanese superstar, it isn't just about winning rounds on the scorecards. It's about completely breaking an opponent's will with bone-crushing body shots and devastating combinations that can change careers.
So, 2 undefeated fighters coming into an undisputed title fight. Inoue pretty much vanquished all challengers so far at the lower weight classes. He has shown time and time again over now 28 wins that he is a devastator, right? Has big time punching power, but can also outbox guys with big time punching power, right? Showed that in Nonito Donaire fight. So this was the biggest test for him. Nakatani, a bigger guy. I mean, I don't know about definitely a taller, longer fighter, rangier. Both guys dangerous. Southpaw orthodox matchup. And the fight starts with epic entrances. And I know that everybody, before we even get into the fight, everybody talks about how Inoue should come to America and box. I would like to see him over here more, but why leave if you're gonna sell out 55,000 in Japan and have these awesome, entrances and these massive displays, and he's a star over there. So there's really no reason for him to come over here. Unless, again, they found a way to make the tank fight happen, which I don't think is ever going to happen. But, yeah, we got to appreciate it, even if it's not in the U.S., even if we got to wake up every once in a while and watch a fight at 7 a.m. or 11 p.m. or whatever, sometimes the greats are worth that, right? And in this case, I think Inoue is. He is must-see television when he...
Stepping into the ring with the Monster creates a deeply unsettling physical reality that most fighters are simply not prepared for. If you listen closely to the raw ringside audio during his complete destruction of Marlon Tapales, you can hear a sickening impact that almost doesn't sound human. Professionals and fans alike were genuinely disturbed by the terrifying mechanical sound echoing throughout the arena every time his gloves connected. Some even claimed it sounded exactly like someone smashing a heavy-duty arcade punching machine at full force. Joe Rogan explained why this happens, pointing out that it isn't simply raw power coming toward you. It's blinding explosive speed that causes elite world-class fighters to swing in empty air before being brutally caught by punches they never even saw coming.
That's what I say. And whoever's saying that, they got to get in the ring and do that against him. You know, obviously, everybody has a ceiling on how far they could go up. He started out at 108. I look at his body structure. He don't look bigger than Pacquiao. Pacquiao's head was bigger. He was taller. His legs was bigger. So I don't know if Inoue could carry, you know, much more weight. But, bro, that dude got fighting spirit. He don't get gun shy when he get hurt. See, I wish that people could just give... I'm not saying nothing about Shushu Carrington. Don't get me wrong, because he's a future opponent of Inoue, so he's supposed to look at him in a certain way. My statements is about just general statement. He's like, the boxing media is racist. I'm being honest with you. They just are. They say certain things about certain fighters and they never keep it objective. Inoue is a fantastic fighter. He's an offensive fighter. And offensive fighters get hit, especially when you walking into dudes that's naturally bigger than you and you dare to knock them out. He could fight the kind of fight where he just skate around the ring, score points and not get touched, but that's not his mentality. I say the same thing about Boots, and people think I'm taking up for him because he's black and he's from Philly. When you are a killer like that, when you are a killer of that magnitude, they're like mass murderers. They're trying to hurt you. So they got the athleticism and the skills of, say, a Haney or a Shakur, but their mentalities is different. And you wire how you wire. In a way, if you watch him fight, right, the whole time he's mean-spirited. He's sticking you with punches. He's trying to hurt you, even though he's athletic and even though he's talented. So he gonna get hit. This is like, let's see, 108, 12, 115, 118. This is fifth weight class. Yeah, he gonna start getting hurt. But that shit don't make him gun shy. He don't act funny when he get hit.
Experiencing a sudden flash knockdown is usually the exact moment when a fighter's confidence begins to crack. But for Inoue, it acts more like a terrifying system reboot. When elite fighters like Luis Neri or Ramon Cardenas have managed to temporarily put him on the canvas, his reaction wasn't panic, fear, or desperation. Instead, he simply takes the full count, stares straight through his opponent, and processes the defensive mistake like a highly advanced supercomputer. He doesn't recklessly rush back into the fire. He calculates the exact angle that caught him, patches the defensive hole in real time, and returns with a murderous, cold-blooded intent. He turns a fleeting moment of vulnerability into an absolute nightmare, dissecting the very fighter who thought they had exposed his weakness until he eventually delivers a devastating highlight reel finish.
Oh! Neri dropped Inoue with a left. Neri dropped Inoue big. Oh! Inoue dropped it with a counter left. Now Neri's not hurt. That's Inoue adjusting to the left hook. Bam! Beautiful! Inoue pulled a Roy Jones and said, come on, and then threw the right, but just missed. Oh, good left hook. Oh! Inoue dropped him. Good right hand. Oh! Right hand again. Right hand again. Right hand again. Neri's still there. Right hand again. He's still there. Oh, good left. I told you. The left hurt him again. He won't see the left. Now he's hurt. Now he's hurt. It was the left. He won't see it. Bam. Oh. Oh, shit. That's it. He knocked out. Neri's knocked out. He almost knocked his head over the rope.
The true horror of fighting this man isn't just his explosive power. It's his terrifyingly high boxing IQ, which was fully showcased during his recent masterclass against Junto Nakatani. Nakatani's highly experienced training camp made a stunning and almost unbelievable admission. They were genuinely afraid to reveal their offensive patterns too early because Inoue learns and adapts far too quickly. If you give him a clear pattern in round 1, he can weaponize it and use it to destroy you by round 3. He creates flawless rhythmic disruption through sharp pendulum steps and a constantly shifting guard that completely scrambles his opponent's internal timing. He refuses to engage in predictable lead-hand battles, instead using immaculate distance control to neutralize significant height and reach advantages as if they don't even exist inside the ring.
It was a fight of two halves, wasn't it? The first half very, very cautious, particularly on the part of Junto Nakatani, who was patient, but perhaps overly patient. as Inoue, look, both of them were doing a lot of reconnaissance. You know, there wasn't a lot of punching in the early rounds. But then when the fight ignited at the midway point, 6, 7, and then obviously Inoue really under the cosh, 8, 9, 10, in trouble, I thought, in the 10th round before the head clash. And then 11 was a huge round for Inoue. And yeah, I mean, it ended up being what we wanted, definitely in the second half. Some of the quality of some of the action was off the charts. It was brilliant to watch.
Yeah, because obviously this was a fight that the world of boxing had their eyes on, and obviously I think as like a purist, you know, you can appreciate the first 6 rounds, but I guess do you see why some might find it a bit hard to watch the first 6 rounds when they were being so cautious and patient with each other? Do you understand?
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. I mean, you know, for the casual fan that doesn't really know a lot about the sport, the first 6 rounds would maybe be something of a turn off. I understand that, but what you need to expect realistically, this is 2 of the best fighters on the planet. They're not going to go out there and fight like they're outside a bar. You know, if you make one mistake at that level against a fellow knockout artist, and you could end up flat on your back looking up at the lights, humiliated on an early round stoppage loss. So they bided their time. I just felt that Junto was perhaps guilty of being overly cautious. Inoue, because of his championship pedigree, he's been a champion for 12 years, knows how to nick rounds. He knows how to win rounds. And the early rounds are every bit as important as the later rounds, and that ultimately proved decisive.
Trying to get under his skin with cheap trash talk is widely considered one of the absolute worst mistakes a professional fighter can make today. When rival champion Jean-Riel Casimero attempted to publicly bait him online by calling him a turtle, the entire boxing community seemed to hold its breath, immediately warning Casimero that he was awakening a demon he couldn't control.
We'll never know, but it looked, at ringside, it felt pivotal. I mean, if you've got all that momentum, and that wasn't just momentum in round 10, I'd given him 8, 9 and 10, and 10 was the better round of the 3. You know, he was doing a lot of damage. I thought he had Naoya in a bit of trouble in that round, in a good bit of trouble. You know, there was uppercuts landing, big power shots, and then bang. And then not only did that ruin the momentum, but it also gave Naoya a break. It gave the monster a break to go over what he'd been through, and then look how he responded. So I think it would be remiss to say that wasn't a pivotal factor in the fight, but these things happen. It's aggressive southpaw against aggressive orthodox. You're going to get head clashes. It just came at the worst time possible for Junto Nakatani and the best time possible for Naoya Inoue.
Was you surprised about how patient Junto was at the start? Because we've seen in previous fights, he's definitely not been patient, you know, and he's got a few early stoppages previously. But we should have surprised or finding the reason, I guess, why it was so hesitant at the start.
It's the danger on the other side. I mean, all the fights that he's had previously, none of those opponents come close to the quality that's in front of him, both in terms of skill and hitting power. So he's being cautious for a reason. Like I say, you make one mistake, then you could be in trouble. I just felt it was a touch. There's cautious and there's overly cautious, and that's ultimately, I think he was overly cautious in the early rounds. So that the reason was, I mean, I spoke to Rudy Hernandez down in this lobby about 10 minutes ago, and he said, look, you can't go in there guns blazing. I know he's got very good timing. You know, you make one mistake and it could be your last. So I get it, but that ultimately has led to him losing the decision.
There is a staggering parallel right now between Inoue and David Benavidez. While the Mexican monster is currently clearing out the heavier divisions through sheer volume and relentless, suffocating pressure, Inoue is dominating the lighter weight classes with that exact same aura of intimidation, perfectly combined with flawless technique. Opponents are stepping through the ropes already knowing deep down that they are walking into a public execution.
Inoue just keeps delivering with great or good performances in all-time fashion over and over. So he might get the nod here. He might be the #1 pound-for-pound guy in the world. That's up for you guys to decide. I know that's going to get messy in the comments, but y'all let me know. But then someone said, you know, all-time, where does he rank? Someone was saying all-time top 15, all-time this. I don't know. I know he's an all-time great. I can definitely say that. I think that's undisputed, right? Like, you can't, there's no argument you can make for him not being an all-time great. I just don't know where, because top 15, it feels like a jump to be like, top 15 ever. But is it? Is it a jump to say that? I don't want to be a victim of recency bias, but he is so damn good that it might make sense to put him there. But I don't know, because then you have to go through the history of the Marcus of Queensberry and how many good fighters there were and the competition they faced versus what he's faced, even if they weren't moving divisions as much as he was, and if they were moving divisions, you know. I don't know. I don't know. He is an all-time great, though. And if he were to call it quits tomorrow, he would be one of the best to have ever participated in this sport. Where that would rank and where he would rank and all that, no idea. But it is always a pleasure to watch Naoya Inoue save boxing. Is what I say. When he fights, we get boxing saved for a night, because I don't know, it just feels like the tribalism, the pomp and frill of just arguing to argue gets stripped away from the sport, and we all just gather around the TV to enjoy watching him fight. Like, he doesn't have a controversial bone in his body. He's not on Twitter like having a hate mob or anything like that. People just genuinely like watching the dude fight.
The level of respect he commands has reached the absolute pinnacle of boxing royalty, a territory reserved for the true legends of the sport. Before his massive, high-stakes fight with Nakatani, none other than Manny Pacquiao himself joined Inoue inside his exclusive training camp.
Guy who everyone's looking for the next so-and-so, right? The next Manny Pacquiao. And the guy who's come closest to me is Inoue, the monster.
Inoue.
And you just asked me about Inoue. Are you a big fan of Inoue's?
Yeah, I like him. I like the way he fights.
Is he the closest thing to you? I'm not saying he's as great as you, but is he the closest thing to Pacquiao that we have in the game right now?
Oh yeah, I can say yeah, closest to me, because when he started, I went to Japan, and then he asked me about what the proper punches and techniques like that.
Well, he learned it well.
Yes.
Because he's been giving them the proper punching techniques.
Well, I told him
those
that
four divisions.
The most important in boxing is footwork. When you have footwork, then you can do a lot of things.
Right. Is that what Freddie gave you when you got to wild card? Did that take your game to the next level, the footwork?
The footwork is the best.
Because before Freddie, you were in and out, and then with Freddie, you started giving him more angles,
side
right?
By side, side by side.
And then it was bad enough when it was just in and out with Manny. Once he started giving him angles,
when an all-time legend of that magnitude steps into the ring to share knowledge and exchange experience with you, your status as a once-in-a-generation talent becomes almost unquestionable. Legendary Hall of Fame promoter Bob Arum made a staggering public claim, stating that he had never seen a fighter from the lighter weight divisions achieve this level of suffocating dominance. He highlighted the terrifying consistency of a man who doesn't simply cruise to safe decision victories, but actively hunts brutal knockouts at a rate exceeding 90% in world championship title fights. That kind of sustained violence at the elite championship level is practically unheard of in modern boxing.
It was a good fight. I was on my toes for it. It was a basic fight though. Not like, it reminded me of the Olympics. A lot of headhunting though. A lot of headhunting. If you're more into like breaking somebody down in the body, this wasn't your fight, But it came down to Inoue, his experience in the big stage, really at the end of the day, carrying the earlier rounds and being able to win the championship rounds. But he did have some problems, kind of like throwing himself in there a little bit when he was throwing his 1-2 or any of his two-piece combinations. He would kind of fall in, and the longer fighter, which was Nakatani, and the one that had the wider stance when it came down to foot positioning. The only thing about Nakatani is that, his jab, he used it more in the beginning of the half, more of a flick jab, kind of like Tyson Fury. And there's not a lot of power into it, but it's more for measurement for his big left hand, right? He was able to land that big left hand, and very successful. He was able to land a nice uppercut with the right hand as well. Anytime he threw combinations, he was successful in the fight.
Nakatani was competitive, but really wasn't winning the rounds.
Salute to both fighters, by the way. These guys were both 23-0. I believe Inoue, 33 years old. Nakatani, he's about, 28 years old. So these guys are in their prime, fighting each other, and that was for a great unification. Now, people say, hey, listen, what's next for Inoue? Can he be successful moving up in the division to fight, Shushu Bruce Carrington, the WBC champion? I don't know. I don't think so, man. Just with that performance, I don't feel like he should mess with Bruce Shushu Carrington. I think he might be too small, and Bruce might be just too good, honestly. And, when it comes down to Jesse Bam Rodriguez, him moving up a division, can he hold the power of Inoue? Would that power be too much for him? Because when it comes to skill-wise and the matchup of, you know, the way, you know, Jesse uses his angles, I could see how he could be very successful. His hand placement and his body punching could be a big factor in.
Unlike modern combat sports stars who desperately rely on endless internet drama, manufactured feuds, or staged social media outbursts to sell tickets, Naoya Inoue operates like a brilliant silent assassin. Highly respected boxing analysts like Wade Plemons and Timothy Bradley continually marvel at how he strips away the toxic tribalism and constant controversy surrounding the sport. He doesn't need to throw a microphone or start a massive brawl at a press conference to sell out the 55,000-seat Tokyo Dome. He delivers pure, unfiltered athletic performance that brings hardcore and casual fans together across the globe simply because they want to witness flawless technique and devastating power. Every appearance feels like a rare historical sporting event that forces the entire combat sports world to stop whatever they're doing and watch greatness unfold.
Yeah. Hey, but anyways, let's get back on that fight, man. Damn, that was a good-ass fight this morning. Man, that was a hell of a fight this morning, man. Damn, did y'all see Inoue's greatness? Ooh, man. Inoue is something fucking else. Inoue something. He the truth. I'm telling y'all, he is the truth. The truth, man. Look, it all started up front. Up front. I mean, we sitting up here and we saying that Nakatani the fencing master. Shit, he wasn't the fencing master in this fight. No. Inoue was getting his jab in, boy. Woo. Splitting that guard. Shit, he was taking full advantage of Nakatani, bringing that lead hand down low. Coming, and every time he'll put it up top, and then he'll come and squeeze his jab underneath. Boy, that jab was cold from Inoue. Fucking putting his foot on the inside to land that jab, outside to land that jab. He was varying that shit, boy. Woo, he mastered. Inoue has mastered the southpaw style. Boy, bring your ass on. Bring your ass on, Bam. He gonna mop your ass up too. Bring your ass on, Bam. Ooh. And yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said to your damn face. Bring your ass on up. Oh, you wanna mess with the monster, boy? He gonna tune your ass up too. Chinga, tune your ass up too.
We are currently witnessing a historic 12-year reign of terror that shows absolutely no signs of slowing down anytime soon. The global conversation has shifted dramatically from whether he is the best active fighter today to exactly where he ranks among the greatest immortals in boxing history. He is rapidly building a monumental legacy that raises one massive and highly debated question throughout the fighting world. What exactly will it take for Naoya Inoue to officially surpass Manny Pacquiao as the greatest Asian fighter in the history of boxing? Does he need to continue pushing his body to the limit and moving up through the weight classes? Or have his staggering knockout ratio and undisputed dominance already cemented his place at the very top of the mountain? Let me know down in the comments what you think his ultimate ceiling is and who could possibly stop him. That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Stay tuned, and we'll catch you in the next one.